Don't pay me. Do it yourself. I show you how. If you opened your Airbnb calendar this morning, saw nothing but empty white boxes for the next 60 days, and felt your stomach drop, this video is for you. Because I'm going to show you why an empty future calendar is usually not a problem, why panicking about this is the single most expensive emotion in this business, and which number you should be looking at instead. My name is Steve. I manage short-term and long-term rentals for almost 20 years in Germany, Switzerland, and Greece. Up to 300 properties at peak. Today, I run Xeno Management here in Orlando, Florida. And here's the thing. A property manager will charge you 20 to 30% of your revenue to handle this sphere. I'd rather teach you handle it yourself for free. So let's talk about empty calendar. Here is what most of the self-managing owners do. They look at the next 30, 60 and 90 days in the calendar. They see gaps, they panic, and they do one thing that permanently damages the listing. They splash prices. 20% off, 30% off, just to get something on the books. And here is what they never do. They never look backwards. Let me give you the number that actually matters. I call it trailing occupancy. Your occupancy over the last 90 days, not the next 90. The last, because here is the uncomfortable truth about future bookings. For the most properties, especially smaller ones, in urban or suburban markets like we have here in Orlando, guests simply don't book far in advance anymore. Think about your own behavior. When you book a business trip or a quick weekend away, do you book it for a month out? No. You book it 2 weeks out, sometimes 2 days out. Your guest is exactly the same. Now, and this is important, different properties have completely different booking windows. This is called lead time. A big 5 or 6 bedroom vacation home near the theme parks, for example. Families planning a Disney trip book that 6, 8 or even 12 months in advance, because a families of 10 has to coordinate school holidays, flights, grandma, grandpa, and if the property like that is empty 6 days out, this is a warning sign. But a one-bedroom condo, a studio, a small townhome, those get booked by couples, business travelers with a lead time of days, not months. An empty calendar 6 days out means absolutely nothing for that property. Zero. So the first thing I want you to do after this video, figure out your lead time. Go into your past reservations. Airbnb shows you the booking date and the check-in date. Calculate the gap for your last 20 bookings. That is your real booking window. Write all the number down and tape it on your monitor. If your typical guest books 12 days out, then an empty calendar 45 days out is not an emergency, it's Tuesday. Now let's flip it. When should you worry? You set the waypoints. Simple example. If my average lead time is 12 days, I want to see bookings starting to appear inside the 14 days window. If I'm at 0 booking 7 days out in a week where the market around me is busy, now I act. Not with panic, with process. I check my prices against the competitor listings. I check my first 5 photos, make measured adjustments, 5 or 10%, not 30. Here's the trap with panic discounting, and almost nobody explained this. When you dump your price 60 days early for safety, you're not competing against the market of today. You're competing against a market that doesn't exist yet. Most of your future competitors haven't even adjusted their prices for those days. You're undercutting a phantom competition, and you're training the algorithm and your guest that your property is the cheap one. And the booking you win at minus 30%. That date might be sold full priced 2 weeks later. You didn't win a booking. You donated money to a stranger. I saw this constantly when I managed hundreds of properties in Europe. The owners who demand keep my calendar full months in advance constantly earned less, sometimes dramatically less than the owners who trusted the process. A full calendar far in the future usually means one thing: your prices were too low. Anyone can be fully booked at half price. That's not success. That's a clearance sale with cleaning fees. Let me give you the mental model I teach my coaching students. Measure the past, manage the near future. Ignore the far future. Trailing 90-day occupancy tells you if your pricing strategy worked. Your lead time window tells you when to make small corrections. Everything beyond this window is noise. Unless you own a big family villa, in which case your window just starts earlier. One more thing, because I know some of you are sitting there with bad trailing numbers. If your last 90 days were also weak, under 50-60% occupancy, while your market was doing fine, then you don't have a calendar problem. You have a listing problem. Photos, pricing, structure, or the product itself. That's a different fix. And I've got other videos on exactly that. And look, this is exactly the kind of thing I go deep in my free webinar. Not a sales pitch as a training. An actual working session where I show you live how to read your own numbers. Your lead time, your trailing occupancy, your waypoint. It's completely free. The link is in the description below. If you own a short-term rental and you're managing yourself, or you're thinking about firing your property manager, register for the next session. Seats are limited because I actually answer questions. Why I do it for free? Simple. I spent 20 years watching property managers charge owners 20-30% for work the owner can do in a few hours a week. With the right system, some owners want it done for them, and that's fine. That's why my management company does. But most of you don't need me. You need my checklist. So here's the homework. 1. Calculate your real lead time from the last 20 bookings. 2. Write down your trailing 90-day occupancy. 3. Set one waypoint, the day when the empty calendar actually becomes a signal. And 4. The next time you feel the panic rising, look at these 3 numbers before you touch your prices. An empty calendar is not a verdict. It's just a calendar that hasn't caught up to your booking window yet. Don't pay me, do it yourself. I show you how. The free webinar is linked below. Subscribe if you are managing your own rental, because every week I break down exactly one thing you can fix that in the same day. See you in the next one.